And welcome live to Lone Star Park alongside Rodney Nelson, Railbird Rodney. I'm Jim Byers. It is a Monday. So far, Rodney, the weather is holding out okay. There's a chance of rain later, but that's kind of standard here for the next week or so. But last Monday, we were able to slide around a few raindrops. Hopefully that'll be the case today. Coming off a great Sunday, the Turf Festival, I think, was a rousing success. Handle was great, and the racing action was good as well.
Yeah, definitely some fun races to watch yesterday, but if you ask me, every race is a fun one to watch. So 8 of them today on the Monday card. It's going to be a good one. We get started, 2:35 this afternoon? So we might as well get into it and start picking some winners, Jim.
$3,843 the carryover in the first race. Jackpot Super High 5 scratch. Part of the number one entry here, Don't Float the Ice, who just ran a couple of days ago, is out. That leaves Miss High Heels in the race. Interesting that she's taking early action. I like her in this spot, but who do you like here in race number one? This is a 5/8 turf sprint for non-winners of 3 fillies.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take the second half of the entry. That's the 1A, Miss High Heels. Last time I went back and watched that race, I saw that, the description says there was some traffic. Yeah, the horse did get in some traffic, was able to get through on the rail, and made a pretty good rally toward the end of that. That horse was claimed last time out by Carl Broberg. He's a 20% winner first off the claim. 2 starts back when the horse had made his debut out here at Lone Star Park. Won that race by 9 1/4 lengths. I think there's a lot to like about Miss High Heels. Yeah. Got that one on top. Second choice, I'm going to go with the with number 6, Mainline. Now, this was a horse that broke its maiden last time out. That came at a sprint on the turf race, just like this race is today. One of the horses that he beat, or she beat, was a next out winner. That was Still the Night. That horse was gaining toward the end, almost catching Mainline. I think that Mainline is good enough to hold on for second in this one. Then I'll take the 4, Tiz Magic, as my third selection here. 2 out of the last 3 races had some respectable finishes. Both of them coming out here at Lone Star Park. Now, the one that was sandwiched in between where the horse finished 7th, that happened to be a sprint on the turf here. Kind of a question mark for me for Tiz Magic, but I'm going to go ahead and take this horse for third.
Yeah, we have the same pick, same order on the top 3. The thing to keep in mind about Tiz Magic, if you just glance at it, you wonder if she has the same kind of turn of foot on turf as she does on the main track. But the one thing about May 28th, she did not get away well that day and ducked in really bad in the initial strides and came very close to the inner rail, I do believe. So you can toss that May 28th race. That's not representative of what Tiz Magic's all about. She really does have good speed. We'll see if she can display it on the turf today. As far as Miss High Heels goes, that's my top pick as well. She broke fine last time. She just sort of lacked early speed and then did find herself in traffic. I picked her that day. A lot of people did. She was 17-10 in the wagering that day, went off favored, which I think was a little bit of a surprise. The winner of that race, Princess of Chi-Town, was a Louis Q special. He was dead last by 5 lengths up the backstretch, circled everybody and drew off late, or didn't draw off, but got up late. And this filly ran okay. Like you say, she got claimed. Her breeding is really interesting. Her sire, Secret Circle, was second in the Breeders' Cup Sprint back in 2014. So he's obviously a horse that was very, very fast. And her dam, Katie's Gold, made $117,000 and won 5 races on the turf and ran second out here on this turf course back in 2007 in the Lone Star Oaks. So that was 1 mile and a 16th on the turf, but her dam could show a turf affinity as well, even though her Tomlinson number in the form for turf affinity doesn't seem very high. But I think she'll like the turf. I'm very heavily invested in Broberg today. If Broberg has a good day, I'm going to. We're both going to sink if he doesn't have a good day. But so I like her. Mainline speed, dangerous. I like her as well. So good first race. Rick Lee is picking an Arkansas-bred Presley as his long shot today. His long shots have been very dangerous. Toss them at your own peril, but boy, Presley is kind of up and down. We'll see about her, but that is Rick's long shot, which has definitely been a pick worth noting. Now, we had a really good run for a whole bunch of weeks where our video horses either ran well or ran well the next time. The last couple of days, last few days, not so much. Let's watch video in the second race here for number 7, A Few Dollars More. We're going to go back to this horse's last start, June 18th. Just watch the start. He's number 6. A few dollars more. Pink Silk starting right in the middle of the gate. Soon after the start here, he will start. He's right in the middle there toward the back. Number 6, Pink Silk's Black Cap. He starts steadying right here. Steady, steady, steady. And now, right in here, that horse in pink is just going to get stopped completely. And the 6 goes back to stone last. And, this horse is a bit of a closer anyway, Rodney, but not this much. And he would go on and make a decent rally. He was only 8th out of 12, but he wound up being a 4 1/4 back of the winner, Mucho Bling, at the end. That was his first try on turf. It was a nightmarish start. I'm taking him right here in this spot. These are Texas-bred maidens, not at the bottom, but they can almost see the bottom from here. And he goes back to the main track at 7/8 of a mile. One note about this race, the Plane 1, Papa Molly, is out, and the Plane 2, Moro America, is out as well.
Yeah, you make a good argument for the 7 a few dollars more. I mean, the horse did make up a lot of ground after checking early in that race. I got the horse picked third. The one I got top, you were talking about being on the Carl Broberg show today, or the bandwagon. I got the 1A Boozeranian as my top selection here. This horse has run out here at Lone Star Park 5 times, has 2 seconds to show for it. Both of them coming this calendar year. Both of them were in sprint races. I'm going to count out that last race where the horse finished 12th. Those were maiden special weight races, taking a large drop down to the 12.5 claiming price today. I think it's going to set up well for the 1A Boozeranian.
Well, he was in the – that's a good way to say that. I've always said Bornasian, but Boozeranian is actually a more fun name. And if you back this horse over the course of his career, you've probably been reaching for the booze at times. But this horse actually comes out of the same races a few dollars more. He broke a lot better and was a lot more forwardly placed before chucking it in. I agree. I think the 7/8 might help this guy, but man, I backed some longtime maidens yesterday and without success. Now I handicapped this race before yesterday, but he could win. It'll be my luck if Broberg wins this race and doesn't win the others when I'm all over him.
Yeah, so I've got. I'm going to go with your pronunciation, even though Boozeranian seems fun.
That's a much better name.
I got a lot of trouble reading English letters when you put them together in successions.
If I ever get a horse, I'm going to think about naming it Boozeranian. I think that's a tremendous name.
All right, Crescent. That's going to be my second pick. That is your number 5 horse. One of the things I really like about this one, Danny Pish, the trainer. He gets the horse last time out. Danny Pish wins at 28% first off the claim, so a very high percentage there. Just going on that percentage, I think that Crescent has a good chance in this race. And then I took that 7 a few dollars more as my third choice here in a second.
Yeah, a few dollars more's main track races have not been great, but I thought his last effort was decent, and he's definitely going to be able to handle a 7/8 of a mile, which is not something that I can say about everybody else in this field, since a lot of these are stretching out. So I took him. These races are a toss-up. I took Bornasian second. I actually preferred Papa Molly of the 2 that were in there. My third pick is also Crescent. I think Blinkers off, Danny Pish on, first off the claim. And Crescent at one time showed really good speed. And sometimes in these cheaper Texas-bred races, Rick Lee always does this, and he's right. Sometimes you just want to be in front and just let somebody try to catch you. On to the third. This is an interesting race. This was one of a number of races today where I could narrow it down to a couple, but, a lot of what we do in handicapping for the fans is you got to make a decision a lot of times between just 2 horses. Some races are more wide open than that, but usually it comes down to, do you like horse A or horse B? This is a $5,000 claimer going a mile.
Yeah, my horse A is going to be the one, Zanussi.
Yep, me too.
I think that's 3 races in a row. I've got Broberg picked on top in all 3 of them. So,
Carl,
I hope you have a great day, my friend. Zanussi, this horse is no stranger to running a mile. Last time out, looked very good. It won by 4.5 lengths. About the quarter pole of that race, he drew away from his stablemate, just kind of kicked it in. I think there was a lot to like about that last race. I think that Zanussi can get the job done here. The 5-horse Honoring Major, this is another horse you got to take a long, hard look at. Getting a lot of things that I like on this one. I mean, the horse hasn't finished out of the money this calendar year. 3 of those races came at Oaklawn Park. I think 3 consecutive seconds. Came out here, ran third in the debut at Lone Star this year. That was at the 1 mile distance. Horse was claimed. Matt Hebert has the horse. I mean, he doesn't have a ton of starts this year, but he's got a pretty good in-the-money finish. I mean, 60% in the money for Matt Hebert. Lane Luzzy gets the mount tonight. Honoring Major, I think this could be a force to be reckoned with here in the third. And then I took the number 2, Attain Success, as my third selection. Last time out, I mean, this horse was able to win the race. Kind of got a little trouble. I mean, Ramon Vasquez put this horse on the rail. It was a tight squeeze. Ended up going to the lead and winning the race. I like that. I think if maybe gets a little bit more room to run, I think Ramon puts this horse in a much better spot, and we'll see what happens with Attain Success. I got it 1, 5, and 2.
Yeah, I've got the same picks in the same order. The only thing I would add, Attain Success, he might be one that ends up on or near the lead here. I mean, he didn't have that benefit last time, and he had to get that rail skimming trip. Ardently Star has good speed, it appears. And so he might end up having to ship out of there from the outside. But I think Attain Success might get a little bit better trip today. But this was a really hard call for me. I went with the 1, Zanucci, as well. He got an absolutely perfect trip last time. I mean, he sat behind dueling leaders, one of whom I believe was his stablemate, Singing Cry in Dubai. And, you can see from the running line, he's a length and a half or so off the lead. Never had a bit of traffic trouble, angled out, responded well. I thought he won it fairly well within himself, so I'm going to take him right back. Honoring Major, I mean, any one of those Oaklawn seconds wins this race today, probably. I mean, on his best day, he might be a little better than Zanucci, although I don't know that for sure. Zanucci's made more money, but I just wasn't impressed with Honoring Major's last race. It wasn't bad, mind you, but he only beat half the field in a 6-horse field at 1 to 2 odds. He didn't do enough for me to pick him back, but still very dangerous. On to the 4th. State bred, non-winners of 2 claiming fillies, 5/8 of a mile. I agonized a bit over this race because I really kind of wanted to pick the 7 Swift Red Bird. She's been off since April 29th, but her last race was a really good one, but she scratched. So Swift Red Bird not only scratches, she takes some speed out of this race. And I sort of consciously picked against Mississippi Bling, who's got really good speed and gets a distance she might like, and that may come back to haunt me because now Swift Red Bird is out, and Mississippi Bling, like usual, is probably going to get an easy lead.
Yeah, I've got the horse on the rail, Constitution Girl. I think this horse has got a chance to be up there on the lead. I mean, lightly raced. I mean, 2 horses for this filly. Won the last time out by 4 1/4, beat a next out winner. Goes to a new barn today. Always like horses that are going to new barns. I think that this horse, there could be a lot to like. Morning line odds 5 to 1 on this one. I mean, with the scratch, I mean, we're not going to get that on her. But
now, she's been very game in both. I mean, that first race against Texas Mama, she ran her absolute eyeballs out and missed by a zop, and then came back and won nicely. And Texas Mama, the filly that beat her the first time, came back and won. I've got her second in here. In this race, I think he can almost dismiss the Buyers a little bit. I'm going with gameness and determination. That's why I like her more than Mississippi Bling, who's going to be out there winging is going to be tough to catch. But someone generally catches Mississippi Bling every time but one they've caught her.
Yeah, I mean, Constitution Girl just a nose away from being undefeated. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and take her. Second choice, I'm going with Dixie Carousel, the number 6 horse. I mean, last few races of this have been good for this filly as well. I mean, third last time out, a second, missing by a length before that. Both of them coming right out here at Lone Star Park. She's going to 5 furlongs. I don't know if she's never run 5 furlongs, probably never been this short. But maybe that'll help her out, get out there, and maybe David Cabrera will get that horse hustled up and see her go. So you can't discount Austin Gustafson either. High percentage in the money trainer. And then for my third choice, I'm going with the number 5, and She's an Angel. Had a win 2 starts back. That came right out here on our main track. Since then, came back and fired a third last time. Just didn't have what it takes that day, but this horse is going to shorten up as well, back to 5 furlongs, cutting a little bit of distance off. Might suit She's an Angel well, so I've got it 1, 6, and 5.
Yeah, I mean, you got 6 horses in here, and, the longest shot is probably Shia's Gold Lady, but she's taken a pretty substantial drop. She hasn't been in good form, but she takes a huge drop. You've got She's an Angel, who's an Asmussen. You got Dixie Carousel, who's in pretty good form and certainly fits at this level. You got Constitution Girl, who's really game and, like you say, is a nose away from being 2 for 2, albeit at realistically lower levels. And Mississippi Bling, who has really, really good speed and is taking a pretty gargantuan drop. And then you've got the filly that I ended up picking, Anamusha, the 4, who debuted a winner here last year in a 2-year-old company, and really it was a rousing performance. I mean, she won from the 10-hole going 4.5 furlongs. She rallied wide, past everybody, and it was an upset that day. And then she came back in that Texas Thoroughbred Futurity behind Candy Ginger, that Steve Asmussen trained Canadian bred, who was brilliant last year. She ran a respectable 3rd behind her and Becca's Bouquet, and she's been off since. The work tab is very thin for her, but you got to figure she's been at a training center somewhere working. Gustafson generally always brings them back ready, and her half-brother, Stan's Miracle Man, just won the other day. But what I think is interesting between the two of them is they both show good closing determination. I don't know if that can be bred into a horse, but Stan's Miracle Man's a good finisher. I think Anamusha is. I'm just taking a shot on a new face. To me, I just made a case almost for every horse in here. So, good race for a small field. On we go to the 5th. I think this is wide open too. Good card today, 1 mile. By the way, I skipped over it, but the 3rd race begins the 6-shooter today. It's 3 through 8 since we have an 8-race card, and the 6-shooter carry over 5,625. Now, back to the moment. 5th race, a mile on turf, filly and mare allowance. I think this is a really good race too.
Yeah, I think this is a good one too. I mean, the ones that I've got picked are decent, middle of the road on morning line odds. I mean, but I just see we're on the same one. Siamese, the number 7. I mean, this horse has won back-to-back wins. Has put together back-to-back wins right out here on our turf course. Both of them routes. And, I mean, take a look at the trend. This is interesting here. He's only had 4 starts. All 4 starts have been with this horse right here. So the only horse that he has,
John Barger.
Yeah, he only has 1 horse out here. Siamese is it. A winner of the last 2. Sire is Kitten's Joy, the nation's leading sire of turf horses. A lot to like about that. I think Siamese is the winner of this one. I like the horse. Second choice, I'm going to go on the rail with Tahitian Breeze. 10-1 morning line on this horse. Last time out, the horse got beat bad. I mean, but if you look at the description there, I mean, lunge at the start, bumped.
Tough field.
Yeah, didn't have the best start. I mean, that was in the scholarship stakes. Yeah. The race before that, I mean, the horse fired in an allowance race, 1 mile on the turf, just like we're going, won that race by half a length. There was a next out winner in the top 3 as well. I like seeing Danny Sorensen aboard this horse. I mean, he's been putting some horses in the winner's circle, no doubt about it.
Last couple of days, he's had a winner each day. And Tina Hurley, you ignore her at your own peril. I mean, she had that comebacker yesterday, Content, that got away about 3 lengths last and beat the field by 5. So I guess that means she was 8 lengths the best in that race.
Yeah, and on the way out here to do the show, I just ran into Dr. Tom and I said, hey, someone to watch out for, Tina Hurley. She can pop some horses. This is the one right here. This could be a winner in this race. I mean, it's some decent odds. I like Tahitian Breeze. And then my third choice, I went with the horse on the outside. That's Flowers for KK. 4 starts for this horse. 3 of them came right out here at Lone Star Park. All 4 of those starts have been on the turf course. Was a winner, broke that maiden two starts back. That was at 7.5. I mean, that's 2 turns here. We're just going to add another half a furlong on. Todd Fincher can win some races. There's no doubt about it. I think you got to take a look at Flowers for KK. Might be one to look at here in the 5th to put in some of those exotic wagers.
Yeah, I mean, I spread out and used almost all of them in here in my proposed pick 4. And lately when I've done big spreads, it seems like the most favored horse of the group wins. And I
always seems like
that.
But,
I think this is a legitimate spread race. I'm on Siamese as well, not just because she's won 2 in a row, but just the way she won her last race. I thought she had something left. I think she had, the race was only June 20th, so she's coming back fast. But, she was able to draw a little bit clear while, in my opinion, not being totally extended and asked for a really long period of time. So I'm going to take her right back in a really wide open race. Gurkha Gold is my second pick here. Broberg put the blinkers on her. Now he takes them off. That's a high percentage move for him. This filly has good speed. Last time out, she chased a gate-to-wire winner named Aura for Steve Asmussen. That just wasn't going to be caught that day, and she got a little tired. But, now she gets back to the turf, which might be her best surface. I don't know, and I just think she's run some really game races. She also ran in a non-winners of 3 last time when she was eligible for a non-winners of 2. And, yet she was well backed in that race. So I like her for second, and Spanx Legacy for Asmussen third, just for the speed factor. Flowers for KK is my 4th pick. She's definitely formidable with these. And even though I didn't use Tahitian Breeze, I've got her on my pick 4 ticket because, that turf race 2 back was really quite good. Even Whoppy, who, was a big rank outsider at 28-1, ran a monstrous number last time out. And a repeat of that in that Quinella race might put her in there. There's a lot of contention in that race.
Yeah, this was going to be a fun one.
That's a good kickoff leg for the
pick 4, right?
Pick 4, and a good anchor last leg for the early pick 4. On to the 6th race. Scratch number 5, Cha-Ching Bling, Texas bred non-winners of 2.
I've got Conga Boy as my top selection here. Brett Calhoun sends this horse out. Lane Ludsey gets the mount today. I mean, 3 out of the 4 races for Conga Boy have been pretty good. Was a winner in the debut that came back at Sam Houston back in March. Most recently, the 3 races came out here. I mean, this horse caught a fast track, a sloppy track, and a muddy track. Didn't like the muddy track. The sloppy track finished second. Last time out at 7 furlongs, ran third by 3.5. I think Conga Boy is one to take a look at here. The number 7, Bling's Bellwether, is going to be my second selection here. A solid second last time out. That was at 5.5, so going to add some distance on today. The horse broke its maiden at a mile. I mean, that was going around 2 turns. So, I mean, this long 7 furlong sprint, we'll see if maybe some of that added distance doesn't help out Bling's Bellwether. But J.R. Caldwell, Goncalves, the jockey, I mean, these guys can win some races. I got the 7 Bling's Bellwether as my second choice. And I'll go with the horse on the outside, Texas Titan, as my third selection here. I mean, came close to winning an allowance last time out, missed by a length and a quarter. Finished in front of Conga Boy in that one. We'll see what happens with the number 9. I've got an 8, 7, and 9 here.
Yeah, I put this race aside a number of times and went back to it, and I went with the 9 Texas Titan. It's not a hugely authoritative selection, but he got a taste of 7 furlongs last time, and I thought he ran a pretty nice race. The only thing that worries me about my pick here is on that June 11th race, the rider Contreras had to ask him pretty hard, like the whole final 5/16 of a mile from mid-turn home. Ask. That can be really demanding, and the horse hasn't worked since. I like him. I don't love him. I'm going to give him the selection here. I think he fits with these. Bling's Bellwether is a logical horse to beat. We're both trying to beat him. His Beyer Fig last time beats these. I went back and watched the race, and he did close ground okay. Visually, I didn't love the performance last time, but I don't know. I took him second. Excalibur Ridge, to me, is the intriguing one because he's going to be closing pretty hard. Every so often, he uncorks a really nice rally, and I just have a feeling that some of these might not really dig 7 furlongs too much, and you might see some horses tiring late. So I went with him third and Conga Boy fourth, but this race to me is one you should spread a little bit on. On to the 7th. Scratch the 4 Warriors map out of this 7th race. There's nobody in for the claiming price here, $50,000, so they're all in on the allowance side of this. 1 mile, really good field here.
Yeah, I got to go with Hunk of Burning Love, one of my favorite horses I see on the track out here this year. I mean, the horse ran the Steve Sexton mile last time out, finished 4th in that one. Had to check in that race, so didn't get the best. But, I mean, this horse likes to lead from gate to wire. I mean, this horse is going to get out there. Looks like there's some other speed in this race as well, but I think the Hunk of Burning Love, I mean, take a look at that. The races this horse has been running. I mean, was in the Razorback Handicap. I mean, all kinds of stakes races dating back to last year and even before probably. But Hunk of Burning Love, a solid horse. I mean, has 2 wins on our track out here. Has won 5 times at the mile distance, so something to be said for that. I mean, a lot of money this horse has earned, $618,000. In a 5-horse field now, this looks like my logical choice. Second selection, I'm going with the number 2 in Kenai Bob. This is another horse we've seen out here quite a bit with a win over the track. Most recently was in the Wayne Hanks Memorial Stakes. Finished third in that one. Tried the stakes back at Sam Houston, ran second in that one back in March. I mean, this horse has been in some bigger races as well. Not as big as Hunk of Burning Love, but I think that Kenai Bob can have a good run here. And then Popular Kid, the number 5, that's going to be my third selection. I mean, this horse went and romped last time, won by 7. Just drew off from the rest of the field. Man, I would love to see a couple races like that put together. But, I mean, this horse had some decent races and some small stakes at Turf Paradise this year. I mean, we've seen those Turf Paradise horses come here and, starting to wake up some of these Texas horses. But I think this is a tough race, even though it's only 5 horses. I think there's a lot of different ways to go, but I do like Hunk of Burning Love on top. 6, 2, 5, those are my top 3 right here in race 7.
You know, I couldn't beat Hunk of Burning Love either. And when Warriors Map scratched, he was one of the speed factors in this race. And Broberg has both. Warriors Map comes out. That opens it up a little bit for Hunk of Burning Love to just get out of there and see how far he can go. I mean, obviously, he has led races like the Razorback in the 5th season at Oaklawn for really, really long times. Just got beat a zop in the 5th season. You know, if he, as Rich Perloff pointed out this morning on TVG, if that 5th season finish at Oaklawn this year comes up, an inch the other way, he's not even eligible for this race because this is for non-winners of 2 races other than in 2021. Well, he's won 1 race other than this year, but the other one he missed by a lip against Silver State in the 5th season. So if that result goes the other way, he doesn't get in this race. Popular, and plus he can handle. Hunk of Burning Love has good numbers on an off track, and should it come up off later today, Popular Kid's price is going to get crushed if the race comes off, because Popular Kid is an absolute freak on the wet going, and he freaked out on the mud here on June 7th at an amazing price of 14 to 1. But, he has tremendous mud form in his past. So Hunk of Burning Love is no slouch on the mud either. But watch for that. If the track comes off, you're going to see very short odds on Popular Kid and Hunk of Burning Love. You might see a race where they both go off at 6 to 5 or even money. That's not to take away from Kenai Bob, who's really, really good Texas bred and seems really, really sharp right now. So he's my third pick. 8th race, we have a new scratch just in. Number 12, Outcashed. Louisiana bred will sit this one out. The 5, Lake and Loglegs, also scratched. 7.5 on turf, $20,000 maiden claimers.
Yeah, I'm on the 11 horse now on the outside. That's Sharp Rocket. Horse has taken quite a bit of drop in class. I mean, the horse has had some respective finishes, this calendar year. Has had a decent record out here at Lone Star Park out of 4 starts. Does have 2 seconds. I think there's a lot to like. I mean, Carl Broberg trains this horse. Stuart Elliott gets the mount on this one. He's got to be one of my favorite jockeys out here. Definitely a veteran rider that can put his horses across that finish line first. I think Sharp Rocket takes the 8. Second choice, I'm going to go with the 4, Veterans Holiday. Horse was a close second last time out. That came at this 7.5 distance on the turf. I like that. The horse was able to close very well in that race. Horse that finished third was the next out winner as well. I think that the number 4 is one to watch, especially if you can get some odds like the morning line at 10 to 1 on the horse. And then my third choice, a little bit more of a shot. That's the number 10 in Oxfire. I like Ramon Vasquez. I like the way he rides. I think he always gives his horses a chance. Last race was 7.5 furlongs right here on the turf. That was the same race that Veterans Holiday came out. This horse finished 4th in that one. But I think with a repeat for that, I think this horse can get up and hit the board in the final race of the night. I've got it 11, 4, and 10 in the nightcap.
Yeah, I like your 4 and 10. I've got them 3rd and 4th in my picks, and if the race were to come off the turf, I'd move both of them up because Candy Curl, my second pick here, is strictly a turf pick for me. If the race comes off the turf, I don't like Candy Curl really at all. I like the fact that Asmussen's stretching him out and trying the turf with him. But yeah, I think Oxfire, he's like a lot of these. He's had a few tries to break his maiden, but I think he's at a realistic level, and his turf races lately have been pretty good. Veterans Holiday, he's only been on the turf 1 time, but his His race behind True Glory on June 6th was solid. Sharp Rocket is clearly the one to beat. And his Beyer figs blow everybody away. And I even like Sharp Rocket if the race comes off the turf because there isn't much off-track form available for any of these other runners. None of them really have shown a whole lot of experience on off tracks either. But I think Sharp Rocket, I mean, he just ran 7 3/4 lengths behind Irish Unity, who we saw go 2 for 2 next time, or in his next start. And that was here yesterday. And Irish Unity's had a horse that's a half to Mohaymen and New Year's Day and a couple of other graded winners. And Irish Unity, quite frankly, the horse that beat this horse last time, we're probably going to see him in a stake somewhere else next time. I would think Asmussen's shopping him. You would think somewhere else. Not that we don't have good racing here, but I mean we're getting to the end of the meet, and I got to think he's shopping a sprint stake for Irish Unity.
I would think so, especially yesterday after Irish Unity beat that second place horse was a sharp runner as well that looked good in the debut.
So yeah, I mean I would think a realistic spot for Irish Unity would either be like the David Vance at Remington or maybe even a non-graded sprint stake at a Monmouth or a Saratoga even. I mean who knows, but nonetheless. The race before that against Directional, Sharp Rocket ran a nice race on the turf. Directional and Blackrock Castle are good for that level, so I like Sharp Rocket. The skies are darkening a bit. I really hope the race stays on turf, though, because it would just make for a much better day.
Yeah, I felt a cool breeze coming, too. So
yeah, and the rain's supposed to come, if it does come from the east, which is disorienting for me because 60 years of life, weather usually comes from the west and the south. But apparently around here, it doesn't always do that. But out beyond our set here, I can see that the skies are a little bit gray out to the east, which is not a good sign either, but let's stay in the moment.
Yeah,
Either way, it's pretty interesting. I think it's a very interesting Monday card.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one, 8 races. I'm going to put some picks down. I'm going to play some tickets to late pick 4. I think I got a good ticket put together, so it's going to be fun.
And we will both enjoy seeing how the Carl Broberg stable runs today because we are both all over the Brobergs. So we hope we don't weight down the Broberg stable.
Right.
Certainly toting me around can sometimes be a little bit heavy. All right. Thanks so much as always. Thanks a lot for looking in, and good luck on your Monday.